तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोः श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामिने गौरतुषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we are continuing discussion on the 18th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. So yesterday we were discussing the 66th verse. Sarva dharman parityaja mamekam sharanam vraja. Okay, so we will continue the next section. But before we go to that, a section from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu we will discuss. Just 1 minute. So first we will see that section. Basically, the point we discussed yesterday was that for a devotee, he may be externally following the varna and the ashrama system to set example in the society, but internally he is just mm, dependent on bhakti for the purification of his heart, and he need not do follow the varna and ashrama system, but bhakti itself takes care of all the anarthas and that is destroyed in the heart, and he is not dependent on the purification of heart coming by the following of nitya karma, naimitya karma, like that. So that was the explanation of Baldev Vidyabhushan and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So this section is from Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. Is this PPT visible? From
Yes.
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Okay. So basically, uh, this is somewhere in middle of Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu in 19 chapters in between of that. So the topic Rupa Goswami is discussing that what are the duties expected of a practitioner or qualified practitioner of Bhakti Yoga. So we will discuss this. So he says it has been established that Bhakti, basically before this the section has been described that every human being is uh, qualified, materially qualified actually. Obviously spiritually he has to gain the qualification of having Shraddha, but he has a material qualification just by being a human being. So that has already been established that anybody who is just a human being can practice bhakti. Okay. So now he is building on it after that. It has been established that bhakti should be practiced, should be without other desires. Anyabhilashita shunyam. This was the definition given. It has also been shown, so this is basically the commentary of Jiva Goswami also. It has also been shown that all humans, regardless of the social position, basically they may be even outcast. So Rupa Goswami says they can practice bhakti. They are qualified. If they come into the right association, they can practice bhakti and they get the mercy of a great devotee like Brahman Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev. So who is that Bhagyavan Jeev? Anybody. He can be a Shudra or he can be Antyaja, he can be Brahmana, anybody. Okay, so regardless of social position, the people are qualified for this type of bhakti. Which type of bhakti? Anyabhilashita shunyam. This type of bhakti. Okay, that means pure bhakti, Shuddha bhakti. So, but isn't there a problem with this if we say everybody is qualified? There can be some problems. So, what can be the problems if all people who are qualified for bhakti start neglecting varnashrama duties? Like yesterday we discussed nitya dharma, naimittik dharmas, and other things. So, then isn't it sinful? Will they not incur sin? And if they incur sin, what is the remedy for that? Do they have to do some atonement for this? If they do not perform their prescribed duties, like a Kshatriya is supposed to do his prescribed duty. So Brahmana is supposed to do, everybody is supposed to do their prescribed duties so that they will be progressing to the next level. Okay. And the modes of nature, basically, if they are in passion, they can rise to goodness. If they are in ignorance, they can rise to passion. So the prescribed duties are given in such a way that they can rise higher and higher. So if they do not perform their prescribed duties, then and they simply perform bhakti, all people will be engaging in sinful activity. So this is the opposition. That being the case, how can they become pure if they are sinful? So should they perform some kind of atonements? So who are these people who are told to be sinful of because of neglecting the prescribed duties? So these are the people who were described here previously. They simply perform bhakti. Okay, these are the people. Which kind of bhakti? Anyabhilashita shunyam. That kind of bhakti. Jnana karmadi anavritam. They don't indulge into jnana and karma. Karma, basically varnashma duties. So what is should they do some atonement? So here Rupa Goswami says these verses. Okay, so here he is quoting an anushthanato dosho bhakti anganam prajayate na karmanam akaranad esha bhakti adhikarinam निषिद्ध आचार तो दैवात प्रायश्चित्तम तु न उचितम इति वैष्णव शास्त्राणाम रहस्यम तद विदाम मतम. So he is saying that bhakti adhikarinam, those who are qualified for bhakti. Okay, so what is the qualification for bhakti? So that we saw earlier, and later also Rupa Goswami describes. So Anyabhilashita Shunyam Gyan Karmadi Anavritam Anukulyena Krishnanushīlanam Bhaktiruttama. Those who have this desire to follow this kind of path, okay, they are adhikari of bhakti. At the same time, they may not be having fully overcome the anarthas in the heart, but they are in the process of anartha nivritti, or even they have attained shraddha. They are bhakti adhikari, like that. So more detail we will see in Bhakti Samar Sindhu. So he is saying that Nisiddha Acharato Daivat. By some unforeseen circumstance, Daivat. Nishiddha Acharato. They do a acharana of what kind? Nishiddha. That which is not prescribed or that which is sinful. Okay. So they commit some sinful activity because of some circumstance. Not willingly, not planning to commit, but because of some previous aprad or because of some conditioning, they commit some nishiddha achar, some sinful activity. So for them, Rupa Goswami is saying prayaschittam tu na uchitam. For them, it is not uchit or it is not uh, good. Okay, what prayaschittam? They did not do the prayaschittam. Iti Vaishnava Shastranam Rahasyam. This is the secret which is told in the Vaishnava Shastras. Tad vidam matam. Okay. And the many great saints have given the same opinion like that he is saying. So translation is here. So the person qualified for bhakti, Esha Bhakti Adhikarinam, is at fault. Okay, he is at fault. Doshah prajayate, for failing to perform all the important angas of bhakti. So please see this carefully. There is a comparison made between the two sides of devotional service. One side is if he fails to perform the angas of bhakti. Okay. So then he is at fault. Okay. It's not considered as sin, but he is at fault. But he is not at fault. Okay. He will not be at fault for failing to perform duties of Varna and Ashrama. Okay. So if he is not doing the Varna and Ashrama duties, then he is not at fault. And the second part, he says, if he by chance, Daivat, happens to commit what? Some sin, Nishiddha Achar, then so there is no atonement prescribed for him. Parashchitam tu nauchitam. This is the opinion, itimatam, of those who know the secret of Vaishnava scriptures. Okay. So this is the opinion of Goswami, what he is saying. So what he said, it is a fault. Basically, the first point is, it is a fault if those qualified for bhakti fail to perform required angas of bhakti, like the main angas or even the subsidiary angas which are described in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, like 64 angas are described. Among them, 5 are most important, correct? Nam Sankirtan, Bhagavad Shravan, and Shri Murtaya Shraddhaya Sevan, correct? And then there is Mathura Vas, Sadhu Sangha. All these 5 angas are most important. If that is not being done, then the person is at fault. Okay, given that he is having qualification for bhakti. So an example is given, such as observance of Ekadashi or Janmashtami, then the person is considered as at fault. But it is not at fault if they do not perform Varnashram activities. So this is what was said. And if they commit forbidden acts, Nishiddhachar, because of influence of previous Vaishnava aparadh. Okay, aparadhotha anartha. Okay, so some due to some previous aparadh like Bharat Maharaj. So it is explained that because of his some past aparadh, he was having some attraction for the deer. Okay. So atonement is not required in such a case, since these pure devotees do not have a natural tendency for sinful actions. Atonement is for whom? For those who have a natural tendency to commit sinful activities. But devotees, they are opposite. They have a natural tendency to not commit sinful activity. They have a natural tendency to commit the activities of bhakti. Okay. So bhakti alone acts as atonement. This is the conclusion of the Vaishnava scriptures. So they don't have to do any separate atonement. Okay. So there is no fault if a person does not perform all the 64 angas of bhakti. The essential angas are the first 20 and the last 5, like chanting, hearing Bhagavatam, association with devotees, living in a holy place, and deity worship. They are repeated actually. First 5 and the last 5 are these which are most important. Okay, so in summary, these 4 points were discussed. He is at fault for failing to perform the essential angas of bhakti, and he is not at fault for failing to perform the duties of Varna and Ashrama. And if he commits a forbidden activity, he need not perform the karma kandya prayashchitta. But what is prayashchitta? For such a person, bhakti alone acts as his atonement. Yeah, so this is a part, very small section. There is more discussion on it, but now, as of now, we took only a small section of it. Okay. Any questions are there? Damai Devki Mata, you have any question?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandapana.
Then
Prabhuji, my question is, here it is mentioned that devotees have natural tendency to perform bhakti, and
correct.
such devotees need not to perform all those other things which is not into bhakti. But
Correct.
Prabhuji, when we see ourselves, then I'm not talking about everyone, but for me especially, I have a natural tendency to commit sins in particular, and yes, trying to be a devotee, but particularly me, uh,
Hmm.
not to the standard which is mentioned here. So is it like uh, for those who are not properly a devotee or situated in that stage, they need to perform all those karmakandi things, which is
Yeah,
mentioned
that's why
here.
Rupa Goswami said in the beginning, those qualified for bhakti. So that's why he said in beginning. The beginning of the whole section is because those even every human being is actually qualified for bhakti. He told na in the beginning. I will show that again.
Yes, yes, Prabhuji, I heard that, Prabhuji. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So he told that, and then he told the section. So see here, it has been shown that all humans, regardless of social position, are qualified for this type of bhakti. Which type of bhakti? Which was told earlier. So he gave a
Mm.
reference from Padma Puran. Okay, that how in that country even the outcasts they receive Vaishnava initiation wearing the marks of conch and disc shine like sacrificial priests. He gave this reference and then he had told his uh, sloka. The scriptures say that any human being is qualified for bhakti. Okay, just as everyone is qualified to take a bath during the month of Magh. Okay. So like this, he gave the reference, then he started the section. And that's why in the beginning of the section, he told, okay, the first point, those who are qualified for bhakti. Okay.
So,
So if,
according to this statement, Prabhuji,
uh,
every human being is qualified for bhakti. So nobody need to do those things.
yeah,
Something.
that's why I explained it before telling that there is no material qualification for bhakti, but there is spiritual qualification that they need to have shraddha, faith. They should have faith in
Oh,
bhakti.
okay.
Yeah. So materially, everybody is qualified. But spiritually, everybody is not qualified. They have to have, like we have, I quoted this, Brahman Brahmite Kono Bhagyavan Jeev. Guru Krishna Prasade Paye Bhakti Lata Bij. So everybody is qualified, but everybody does not receive that seed. Correct, na?
Yes, yes,
So
Prabhuji.
that's
Yes.
why everybody is not spiritually qualified. What Rupa Goswami is telling here is a material aspect that every human being is qualified, like that. Mini matrasya. He has used that word. So, like we say, every human being can be preached. Na? So they have a potential to practice bhakti. That's what he started with. And now coming to your question that like we as persons, as devotees, we may have a natural tendency to commit the sins. That's what
Ji,
like
ji.
yeah, we may have like some contamination in the mind and anartha, kam, krodh, lobha, moha, matsar, correct? Envy,
Yes, yes, sir.
illusion, anger, pride, lust, greed, all these six anarthas we have. So we have attraction towards that naturally, correct? But my question would be, do you act upon it and then commit sins willingly? Do you do like that?
No, Prabhuji, it's something like it happens and then we realize that it is we have committed it. So
Okay, next time.
next time we try to be cautious, Prabhuji. But
Okay, yeah. Yeah, so
yes,
that's what my question is. Do you commit sin or there is a tendency to commit sin?
it's a tendency, Prabhuji. It's like
Yeah, yeah.
uh, we don't willingly we don't want to do it, but it happens. It's something.
Okay, so that's why Rupa Goswami said here, the verse he told, na, Nishiddha acharato daivat. So here he said,
Ji.
by chance. So my
Hmm.
question would be like, okay, may not be you tell about yourself, but generally, by chance only it happens. And he is
Hmm.
saying that already in the verse. By chance happens to commit some sin. Okay. Api chet suduracharo bhajate mam ananyabhak sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavasito hisa. But that shloka you can maybe read the commentary of Baldev Vidyabhushan or Srila Vishwanath Thakur. There clearly explained that shloka is coming in the Bhakti section only, ninth chapter only, 30 verse.
Hmm.
So he says very clearly that those who are qualified for Bhakti, because they have anarthas in heart, they may have the tendency to commit sin. Okay,
Ji.
but they are not committing sin. Actually, yeah, they are following the regulatory principles, no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, all these things they are following. So, major of the sinful activities are not being committed. And if they happen also sometime by mistake, then he is saying there is no atonement prescribed. for that, but they have to just continue the following of bhakti limbs only, like that. That's what he is
जी,
saying. So now one may say, okay, these all things are there, but Rupa Goswami is saying at least one should be qualified for bhakti. So are we qualified for this higher stage of higher level of bhakti which is described or which is expected? So what was told here, where is it? This Anyabhilashita Shunyam, are we qualified for this higher level of bhakti? Are we free of all the other abhilashas? So that is, we have described many times that Anya Abhilasha Shunyam, there is a meaning to it that we should be free of the desire for bhukti and mukti. That is what is explained. Desire to
जी,
enjoy, desire for sense gratification, and desire for mukti. So generally devotees don't have desire for mukti, and bhukti generally we may have some desire to enjoy sense gratification. Okay, but have we considered it as anartha, or are we still pursuing it as a goal of life? That has to be understood. If somebody is pursuing it sense gratification or sayujya mukti as a goal of life, then they are not practicing uttama bhakti or shuddha bhakti. Okay, but if somebody is pursuing the goal of life as sense gratification, then they are not practicing bhakti, then we can say. But if some devotee is trying and kept those desires as anartha, then anartha nivritti will happen. That elaborate discussion we will do it during the commentary of this verse. Okay. So yeah, so that's what my understanding is. We may have the tendency to commit sin because anartha are still present. Okay. And the anartha nivritti completely, fully happens only at the stage of prema. That Madhur Kadamni it is described. Aparadhotta anartha. That's why Bharat Maharaj also, he committed that mistake of getting attracted to deer. Okay,
जी,
so even at that level, it can happen. What to speak of us? Okay, we are just toddlers in front of Bharat Maharaj and other great devotees. Correct. Even
जी,
they
जी,
can commit like that. So that's what. So we may have tendency, but we don't indulge into it. That's what is being said here. So in that case, if we are qualified for bhakti, then there is no need to do these activities of varna and ashrama and nitya namitti karmas for purification of heart. Anartha nivritti will happen if we are practicing bhakti. That is the solution.
जी. But
Okay.
probably sometimes it happens like our mind is very, very tricky. So
Correct.
sometimes it happens like for our material desires also it tricks us like that that it is eventually a spiritual goal. Like suppose
Mm.
purchasing a flat or something. So
Correct.
mind will trick. Okay, this is for your old age. Like you will be tension free and you will get a flat and you will be able to do bhakti nicely and everything. So
Yeah.
it's just a very lame example, but many subtle things are there where
Hmm.
mind tricks us that this is eventually a spiritual goal only, but this is something which is in inner our material desire only. So how
Hmm.
can in that case uh, how to decide that this is just a spiritual or this is the mind which is tricking us, and
Hmm.
it is very difficult at that moment of time which
Yeah. Yeah.
way to go. So,
Right, correct,
yeah.
correct. Yeah, yeah, very practical situation, very understandable. And especially in Grihastha Ashram, there can be many decisions we may have to make, which may be like a boundary situation actually. And
जी,
it will be difficult actually. Yeah, that's very true. So that's why Prabhupada actually, many of his lectures and books, he keeps saying that one should take the guidance from spiritual master or their representatives. Because in these situations, we ourselves, we don't know whether it is actually needed for us and whether it is
Hmm.
actually going to help us in bhakti. So we can take guidance from our senior devotees and ask them that we are thinking like this, and is it
जी,
right to think, because it can be a trick of mind also, but we
Hmm.
have to give a benefit of doubt also that yeah, it can be a genuine desire to
Hmm.
stabilize our life so that we can practice bhakti. How do we know whether it is a trick of mind only? Because both the
Yes,
sides
yes,
are there in us only. Correct, no?
true.
So we
Hmm.
can take
Hmm.
guidance from the senior devotees. They are more mature or our spiritual master, and then they will guide us whether it is actually going to be helpful. And they have seen others also, those who have actually taken such steps, whether it was helpful or not, and they will understand our nature also, and accordingly they will give guidance. So we can
Hmm.
take their help.
जी, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna. So we'll continue.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah,
Prabhuji, so you explained those who are Bhakti Adhikari, if
yeah.
they fail to perform uh, the duties which are given to them by Guru or those the angas of bhaktis. So what will happen? Will the sin, will there be any sin, or will there be just that their progress will be checked?
Yeah, so it's fault. That's a dosha. Okay, it's not sinful in that sense, but it can be a potential aparadh actually. Not following the orders of Guru, it can be third offense like that. And aparadh is actually more dangerous than sin because aparadh is uh, going to create much more trouble, and it's spiritually going to create trouble. Sin may give a material result only, and it will affect only our material body or desires like that, material mind. But the sin, the aparadh has a potential to affect our bhakti actually. So that can be even more dangerous. That's why he told later, this point he brought out. Here is if they commit forbidden acts because of influence of previous Vaishnava aparadh. Okay, so when there is a Vaishnava aparadh, it can make us commit some forbidden acts in future, and not following the angas of bhakti, and because it's the instruction of the gurujanas, then it can be a required required like potential aparadha. That in that way we should understand this word fault which he has told. Okay,
Yes.
but surely not he is not at fault for not performing the angas, the duties of varna and ashrama. And another side also he says, and if he commits some sin, then there is no atonement. So these are the four things basically told. Yeah. Is it clear?
Yes, understood, Raj.
Okay. Okay. Any other devotee has any questions? Okay. And we will continue the next section. Whom and whom not to preach Bhagavad Gita. This Krishna speaks, and Falashruti. What is the effect of hearing this Bhagavad Gita? Next section. 67th verse. Idam te na atapaskaya na bhaktaya kadachana na cha ashushruve vacham na cha mamyo abhyasuyati. Sarveshwari Radhika Mate, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. This idam should never be spoken, na abhidayat to one who is not austere, na atapaskaya, not to one who is not devoted, na abhaktaya, not to one who is unwilling to render service, na cha asusrusave, not to one who is envious of me, ya cha abhiyasuyati mam.
So four criteria Krishna has told to uh, identify whom one should not be giving these instructions of Bhagavad Gita. So first he says na atapaskaya. Okay, should not be spoken to those who is not austere. Okay, what is the meaning of austerity? It will be explained in the commentary. Okay, basically the control of mind and the senses, Shama and Dama, they don't have. So, nor to one who is not devoted. Okay, he doesn't have bhakti. Okay, he is not practicing the bhakti. Okay, ana abhaktaya. And third, nor to one who is unwilling to render service. Service in which form? Of Shravana. Ashushrushrave. Okay. Shushushro Shabdadhanasya Vasudeva Katharuchi Syan Mahat Sevaya Vipra. Okay. Punya Shravana Kirtanaha. So, like that, Sushrusha. He is not ready to do the hearing, service of hearing. Okay. Why he is not ready to do? Because he does not have faith. Okay. So, if somebody has faith or somebody has some liking for some uh, activity, then he will do it. So, he does not have any liking for the limbs of bhakti, like hearing, reading, chanting, like that. And fourth, nor to one who is envious of me. Abhyasuyati. Okay. Yeah, please read.
Person who have not undergone the austerities of the religious process, who have never attempted devotional service in Krishna consciousness, who have not tended a pure devotee, and especially those who are conscious of Krishna only as a historical personality or who are envious of the greatness of Krishna, should not be told this most confidential part of knowledge. It is, however, sometimes found that even demonic persons who are envious of Krishna, worshipping Krishna in a different way, take to the profession of explaining Bhagavad Gita in a different way to make business. But anyone who desires actually to understand Krishna must avoid such commentaries on Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah. So Prabhupada is explaining persons who have not undergone the austerities of religious process, dharma, they don't follow dharma in their life. They are followers of adharma. Okay, they do all sorts of activities like breaking regulatory principles, meat eating, and killing cow. So many irreligious activity they may be doing, and who have never attempted devotional service in Krishna consciousness, who have not tended a pure devotee, and especially those who are conscious of Krishna only as a historical personality. So, in the preface to Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada explains this point actually, that for those who just consider Krishna as only a historical personality, but don't consider him as God in theory also. At least in theory, Prabhupada says one should accept that Krishna is God, then he can be qualified to read Bhagavad Gita. That Prabhupada says all these things in the preface only, because obviously Krishna is saying in the end, so that we will know whom to give or not give. But Prabhupada is telling it in the very beginning, so that everybody knows who should read and who should not read. Okay. And fourth thing is who are envious. So they should not surely be given. Their envy will increase. That, oh, Krishna is saying, Aham sarvasya prabhavo matta sarvam pravartate. He is thinking he is so great. I am greater than him. That's why this all Hiranyakashipu, Ravana, all this actually people knew philosophy very nicely. Hiranyakashipu spoke the science of the soul so nicely. But they use this philosophy for their sense gratification. That is the point. So that is what Prabhupada is explaining in this part. That they are envious of Krishna, worshipping Krishna in these even demoniac persons who are envious of Krishna, worshipping Krishna in different way, take to the profession of explaining Bhagavad Gita for suiting their sense gratification and all like that. So for them, one should not speak. Yeah, continue.
Actually, the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is not understandable to those who are sensuous. Even if one is not sensuous but is strictly following the disciplines enjoined in the Vedic scripture, if he is not a devotee, he also cannot understand Krishna. And even when one poses himself as a devotee of Krishna but is not engaged in Krishna conscious activities, he also cannot understand Krishna. There are many persons who envy Krishna because he has explained in Bhagavad Gita that he is the supreme and that nothing is above him or equal to him.
So one by one, Prabhupada is explaining. The first point over he explained here that uh, na atapaskaya, those who are not austere, so they are who? They are sensuous. They are always engaged in sense gratification. So this is the first point he is saying. And oh, let's say that he is sense controlled, like Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu critiqued the milk drinking brahmachari. Correct. So he was very, very austere also. He used to only drink milk, and many of the followers of Lord Chaitanya may not be doing that much austerity also. They may be eating very sumptuous prasad also, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would himself feed also prasad to them. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Oh, just by drinking milk, one somebody may think that he is qualified or what for entering the inner pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That is not true. So even though somebody may be not sensuous, Prabhupada is saying now, next point. Yeah, somebody may say, no, no, I am a austere. I am doing only milk drinking. I am only doing. So it is not that is a qualification, but he is saying again above it, they should be also a devotee. If he is not a devotee, he cannot understand Krishna. Okay. Now somebody may say, no, no, I wear dhoti kurta, I wear kantimala, I have shikha, I have tilak, all these things I have. So if one poses himself externally as a devotee of Krishna, but is not engaged in Krishna conscious activities, he is not chanting, reading, hearing, not performing the limbs of bhakti, then what will happen? He cannot understand Krishna. So third level also Prabhupada told that is also not sufficient. And among all, most important is this criteria, fourth one. being non-envious. Prabhupada will say later that many times in ISKCON we speak in an open audience, the Bhagavad Gita classes, like at our temple or many temples actually, people, all sorts of people come to temple and we speak to them Bhagavad Gita, correct? And we don't see all these criteria. We don't have a entry system that whether you qualify with all these four and then you can hear Bhagavad Gita. We don't say like that. So Prabhupada will explain that those who generally come to temple are not envious of Krishna. And even if they come to temple, if there is Bhagavad Gita class, they will not be sitting if they have some envy for Krishna. They may be coming for sightseeing, seeing the garden, seeing the architecture, or clicking some photos like that. So many other purposes people may come, but they will not sit for Bhagavad Gita class if they have some envy or they are having some other motives. So those who are coming and sitting innocent crowd, for them we can preach, Prabhupada will say, because they are not envious. Okay. Very simple like that. Okay. Yeah, continue.
There are many persons who are envious of Krishna. Such persons should not be told of Bhagavad Gita, for they cannot understand. There is no possibility of faithless persons understanding Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. Without understanding Krishna from the authority of a pure devotee, one should not try to comment upon Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah, so two important points here. One is previously, Prabhupada, when he is saying all this, even though somebody may not be having these first three qualifications, but if he is having this qualification, he is non-envious, he can sit in the Bhagavad Gita class, and what will happen? His sins and other past bad uh, habits will also go away, like that. Prabhupada will say later. Okay, so even if he does not have these first three qualifications, so his sensuousness will go away by just sitting in Bhagavad Gita classes, by hearing from a devotee, and so many other things. He will gradually become a devotee, and he will also start practicing Krishna consciousness. The only important criteria is he should not have envy. But that does not mean he will understand Bhagavad Gita. That Prabhupada says in the next slide. So there is no possibility of understanding. There is difference between hearing and understanding. Okay. So understanding needs listening. Okay. So a person can hear Bhagavad Gita if he is non-envious. But whether he will listen and understand, that is decided by other three criteria. Okay. He should not be sensuous. He should be devotee. And he should be practicing the limbs of bhakti. Then he can understand Bhagavad Gita. So all four are required for understanding. Okay. So one who has only the fourth one, he can hear Bhagavad Gita. Okay, but if he has all four, then one can understand Bhagavad Gita and understand the core meaning of what Krishna is trying to say. It requires some goodness to understand what Bhagavad Gita is saying. Okay. We will read only commentary of Bhaktivedanta Bhushan here. Yeah, please read, Mataji.
In this verse, the Lord instructs that the teaching of the teaching of the Gita, which he himself has taught, should be given to qualified candidates only, not the unqualified. This scripture should not be spoken by you to a person who does not have sense control, atapaksya. Even if he does control the senses, it should not be given to the non-devotee. For who has no devotion to you, the teacher of the scripture, and to me, the Supreme Lord, the maker of the scripture. And even if he controls the senses and he has devotion to you and me, you should not teach to him if he has no desire to hear it. You should never speak it to that person who envies me, the Supreme Lord, who possesses him eternal form and eternal qualities, to that person who attributes material form and qualities to me.
Yeah, so more or less we discussed all these points. Ashushrushave is explained here. Bhaktivedanta Bhushan is saying he has no desire to hear it. Basically, Prabhupada told this as practicing the limbs of bhakti. If you see his commentary, he has told this point here. Ashushrushave. Krishna conscious activity is hearing. Sushrushave. Okay, so he has told in that way. Yeah, continue, Matul. This one, yeah.
The
Okay, this is some
Brilliance.
Sanskrit thing. Yeah, not required. Yeah, please read this one, the teacher.
The author of Vedanta says,
Yeah.
Anavispurvan Anvayat. The teacher should tell the disciple not to reveal the knowledge to the unqualified person because that is the custom. Vedansu 3.4.50.
Yeah, so teacher should tell the disciple not to reveal the knowledge to unqualified person because that is the custom, means Vedic custom or the Guru Shishya Parampara. Okay, like that. And the word abhaktaya, apataskaya, all these things were used to point out his particular degraded nature. Somebody is degraded means he is well below the mode of goodness. Then he will not be able to understand the Bhagavad Gita. His envy may increase. That is the point. Okay, so that's why we have so many policies even for attending Bhakti Shastri and gaining a Bhakti Shastri certificate actually. So there are exams and some degree of tapasya is needed to prepare for exams, then appear for the exams and pass the exams with some percentage and all the other policies. That is all placed there, not for some other purpose, but to understand that, yeah, some degree of qualification is needed to hear Bhagavad Gita, like that. Okay. Okay, next. Ya idam paramam guhyam madbhakteshu abhidhasyati bhaktim mai param kritva mam evashyati asamshayah. Okay. Chaitanya Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
For one who explains this supreme secret to my devotees and devotional service unto me is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me.
Okay, so having told Arjuna whom not to speak, Bhagavad Gita, now Krishna is saying whom to speak. Okay. Okay. This is whom to speak the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. So bhakti, both things are told. Whom to not speak was told, and whom to speak is being told now. So do's and don'ts both will be told in Bhakti Yoga. Yeah. Yeah, continue.
Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Generally, it is advised that Bhagavad Gita be discussed amongst the devotees only. For those who are not devotees will understand neither Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Those who do not accept Krishna as he is and Bhagavad Gita as it is should not try to explain Bhagavad Gita whimsically and become offenders. Bhagavad Gita should be explained to persons who are ready to accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is a subject matter for the devotees only, not for the philosophical speculators. Anyone, however, who tries sincerely to present Bhagavad Gita as it is will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life. As a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back home, back to Godhead.
Yeah, so very clearly Krishna has told that it should be spoken to whom mad bhakteshu abhidhasyati. Okay, the word he has used is mad bhakteshu. Who is his bhakta? Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So all these limbs of bhakti he is ready to follow. That is his devotee, and we should be speaking to them. Not that anybody we find in on the road, we speak to him Bhagavad Gita. Then the question comes, why do we distribute Bhagavad Gita? Prabhupada, as I told earlier, Prabhupada will tell now that at least he should be non-envious. Okay, he is non-envious, then we can give him Bhagavad Gita. And whenever he gets the qualification, he will read the Bhagavad Gita, he will understand it also later, and then he will start practicing bhakti also. So that is the point. Yeah. That's why he's saying that it should be spoken to devotees only. For those who are not devotees, will neither understand Krishna nor Bhagavad Gita. Okay. So they may just read it for some philosophical reading or read it for some other purpose, for showing off that yes, I am also a religious person. I have a Bhagavad Gita at my home. I also can recite some shlokas from Bhagavad Gita, but they will not be taking it for understanding Bhagavad Gita like that. So this is the point. So if we forcibly teach or speak to those who are not devotees, then we will commit offense. Which offense will we commit? We will commit the ninth offense. Okay, so the ninth offense of bhakti is what? To preach to the faithless. Okay, so we will be committing this offense of preaching to the faithless. Those who don't have, their envy will increase, their faithlessness will increase. Then what should we do? We should give them some prasad, or we should give them some favorable experience of bhakti, so that their sukriti will increase. They will start liking that, yeah, these devotees are good. This temple is good. They are very good lighting in the altar. They are not in a dark place and like other temples. Some good experience. There's very good music in the temple. Some material aspect only they will be able to see of the spiritual thing. Okay, and they are very nicely clean dressed people. Like these things they will see, and they may get attracted. And by that attraction, then slowly they will gain sukriti, then they will gain shraddha, and then only when they have faith in the person, they will be able to hear. Okay, sadhu sangha, then only it comes. So for others, we cannot just start speaking Bhagavad Gita or speak about philosophy, and we will be committing this ninth offense basically. Okay, that Prabhupada has warned here. Okay. So it's a subject matter for the devotees only. So here also Prabhupada told, here also he told, and not for jnanis, philosophical speculators. Yeah. Yeah. And then what is the result? That also Krishna will tell later, that he will attain, reach the pure devotional state of his life. That will come later. Result of such pure devotion, he will go back to Godhead. Yeah. न च तस्मान् मनुष्येषु कश्चिन् मे प्रियकृत्तमः भविता न च मे तस्मात् अन्यः प्रियोतरो भुवि. Vrajananda Krishna Prabhu, you want to read?
There is no servant among men more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear on this earth.
Yeah, so Krishna is saying who is most dear to him. So surely a preacher is most dear to Krishna. But which preacher who follows these two previous verses? Generally, people will quote only this verse, saying that yes, every preacher is very, very dear to Krishna. No, it is not like that. Those preachers who follow these two previous instructions, that they don't teach Bhagavad Gita to those four unqualified people, at least those who are not envious. Okay, that kind of preacher, and as well as those who are teaching it to the devotees in the sense what they are having faith in bhakti. That kind of preacher is most dear to him, not any preacher. Okay, yeah. Yeah, please read this Vishwanath Chakravarti's commentary. Yeah.
Among all men, there has never been one who satisfies me, Priyakratmaha, as much as the teacher of the Gita, nor will there be such a person in the future. There has been no one dearer to me in this world in the past, and there will no one dearer to me in the future.
Yeah, so one should not explicitly think that it is only for the teacher of Gita, but teacher of any of the bhakti scriptures. Okay, whether it be Bhagavatam or Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu or any of the bhakti scriptures, or which the books Prabhupada has written, all the things like that. Okay, so Bhagavad Gita is here taken as a uplakshana. Basically, it signifies all other items. Okay. Okay, so 70. अध्येष्यते च य इमं धर्म्यं संवादम् आवयोः ज्ञानयज्ञेन तेनाहम् इष्टः स्याम् इति मे मतिः. Yeah, please continue, Prajan Krishna.
And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worships me by his intelligence.
Yeah, so the person, how does he worship? With the study of Bhagavad Gita, so he worships me by intelligence. So worship of the reader or the one person who studies Bhagavad Gita. Okay. How does he worship? He worships with his intelligence. Yeah, please read.
This verse describes the results for one who studies the Gita. I will have been worshipped, Ishtaha, by the Jnana Yajna described previously in the chapter 4 just by study of the Gita. This is my opinion. I am easily attained by the person who studies the Gita.
Yeah, so that's what Prabhupada also told previously. If you remember here, he told. So such a person, what the result he will attain? He will, here he says two lines. However, who tries to sincerely present Bhagavad Gita as it is, will advance in devotional activities and reach the pure devotional state of life, basically the prema. As a result of such pure devotion, he is sure to go back to home, back to Godhead, like that. So this is what Prabhupada told, which Krishna told in this verse later. Okay. Yeah. 71. श्रद्धावान अनुसूयश्च शृणुयादपि यो नरः सोऽपि मुक्तः शुभाल्लोकान् प्राप्नुयात् पुण्यकर्मणाम्. Amit bro, you want to read?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji,
Hare
Dandavat.
Krishna.
And one who hears with faith and without envy, he also becomes free from sinful reactions and attains the auspicious planets where the pious dwell. Pious dwell.
Yeah. So another falshruti of what he is saying, as Prabhupada told, he will go back to home, back to Godhead. So this is what Prabhupada summarized earlier actually. So he who hears with faith. So basically they should have this qualification that he is ready to hear with Shushrusha. He is ready to do Shushrusha. And without envy, he should be Anasuya Vehe. So as he told in the previous verse, Anasuya Vehe. See, he also becomes free of sinful reactions. So even though he may have some sinful habits, sinful papa, residual papa in his account, that will also be absolved. Okay, he will become free of that and attain the auspicious planets, Shubhan Lokan, where the pious dwell. Yeah, please read.
In the 67th verse of this chapter, the Lord explicitly forbade the Gita's being spoken to those who are envious of the Lord. In other words, Bhagavad Gita is for the devotees only. But it so happens that sometimes the devotee of Lord will hold open class. And in that class, not all students are expected to be devotees. Why do such persons hold open class? It is explained here that although not everyone is a devotee, still there are many men who are not envious of Krishna. They have faith in him as a supreme personality of Godhead.
So same thing here, Prabhupada is explaining that, okay, it was told that it is for devotees only, but sometimes we have open classes in our temple like that. So why do we hold such open classes? It is explained that although not everyone is a devotee, everybody is not ready to give his ears to the message of Bhagavad Gita, still there are many men who are not envious. So that's what I pointed out earlier. The fourth criteria that is most important, they should not be envious at least. Okay. So they have faith in him as Supreme Personality of Godhead. That's what Prabhupada says in the preface also. At least they should accept Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead. That much faith that they should have. Yeah, continue.
If such persons hear from a bona fide devotee about the Lord, the result is that they become at once free from all sinful reactions, and after that attain to the planetary system where all righteous persons are situated. Therefore, simply by hearing Bhagavad Gita, even a person who does not try to be a pure devotee attains the result of righteous activities. Thus, a pure devotee of the Lord gives everyone a chance to become free from all sinful reactions and to become a devotee of the Lord.
Yeah, so if such persons, who are these such persons? Non-envious persons. Okay, at least this much they should be having qualification. Hear from a bona fide devotee about the Lord. The result is that they become at once free from all sinful reactions. Okay. Just like one becomes free by chanting one holy name of Krishna. So one should not think that potency of removing the sin is only in the holy name by chanting once. No, that is by uplakshan, by any limb of bhakti. If they do it once, they will be absolved of all the sinful reactions. given that they should be free of offenses. Okay. There should not be any offense. Should be offense less. Like Ajamil, the example of Ajamil. So his example is given for holy name. Okay, like that. There are so many other examples where, like a snake who was touched just by his tail touched the Mother Ganges, like Garuda was carrying him, and suddenly he got transformed into a Vaishnava, like that. And a mouse, the example comes that he was just trying to eat the ghee on the wick of the lamp of the Lord in the altar, and he got burnt, and then he got transformed into the spiritual world. So how all these things happen? It's not only the holy name, but by any other limb of the bhakti done once offenselessly, one can get rid of all the sinful reactions, and then he can go to the spiritual world. Okay, that every limb of bhakti carries that potency. Okay. Here it is said, they attend to the planetary system where all righteous persons are situated. Therefore, hearing Bhagavad Gita, even a person does not try to be a pure devotee, but attains results of righteous activities and becomes free of sinful reactions. And then becomes a devotee of the Lord, like that. Yeah, continue.
Generally, those who are free from sinful reactions, those who are righteous, very easily take to Krishna consciousness. The word punya karmana is very significant here. This refers to the performance of great sacrifices like the Ashwamedh Yajna mentioned in the Vedic literature. Those who are righteous in performing devotional service but who are not pure can attain the planetary systems of the pole star or Dhruva Lok, where Dhruva Maharaj is presiding. He is a great devotee of Lord, and he has a special planet which is called the pole star.
Yeah, so that planet they will attain. Yeah. So though that planet is actually the spiritual world only, that is Dweep, like that. So it's a spiritual planet only. They will attain to that. Yeah, please read this.
This verse describes the results for the hearer of the Gita. He who hears with faith alone, without envy, not finding fault in it by thinking, what is the purpose of his reciting? Or why does he recite an inaccurate text in a loud voice? Becomes free of all sins and will attain the planets of those who perform Ashwamedh sacrifices, or the planets of the devotees, such as Dhruvalok, the variety of Vaikunthas.
Yeah, so here it's clarified. Dhruvaloka actually is a variety of Vaikuntha only, Shvetadvi. So they will attain to that. Just they should not be criticizing the persons who are actually trying to recite Bhagavad Gita with devotion. Like Prabhupada was told that many of your disciples actually they don't have proper pronunciation. The Prabhupada told, yeah, they may not have proper pronunciation, but they have devotion and they have renunciation, obviously, he told. But what he is saying is they have devotion. So that is the point here. So Baldev Vidoshan is saying, even though they may be having a recitation in the incorrect tone, incantation, or all different faults they may have, but they have good devotion, then one should not criticize. Then one will reap to the Falashruti of Bhagavad Gita, of attaining Vaikuntha. Okay. Any questions what we discussed till now?
Prabhuji, I had one question.
Yes, Mataji.
This Dhruv Loka is in spiritual sky.
What?
Dhruv Lok.
Dhruva
That
Loka?
is it in spiritual sky? Spiritual
No,
adhyatma?
no, not in the spiritual world, but it is in the material world a spiritual planet. Okay, just like
Because we can see this Dhruva Loka from here also,
right.
na? Star that
Yeah,
can
yeah.
be seen.
Yes, Mataji. Yeah. So just like we can see the material aspect of Dhruva Loka, like we see the moon, but we are not seeing the Chandraloka. It is actually a heavenly planet. So Prabhupada told also the people are going to moon. They are seeing only raw dust and mountain and craters. because they are not having qualification to see the divya part or the heavenly part of it. Similarly, Dhruvaloka we may see as a pole star. This is a material aspect of the spiritual planet, which is visible to us. But it is actually a spiritual planet in the material world. Okay, just like we have Kailash. Kailash is actually beyond the material world, the original Kailash, where Shadashiva is residing. But the expansion of it is in the material world in the greater Himalayas. Okay, that is not in the Bharatvarsha, it is outside Bharatvarsha. And the expansion of that also greater Himalaya is the our Himalaya in the between the India and Nepal border. So there are different expansions. So there is also one Shivalinga, Kailash. So they are all expansions of the original. Similarly, spiritual world is there that expands into Vrindavan here, Mayapur. So they may not be original, but they are as good as original, like that. So that is what is this Dhruvaloka. And this is a planet where these four Kumaras went. So it is told in Bhagavatam, they were roaming around in the material world and they reached to the spiritual world where they happened to see Jaya Vijay. And that pastime is described. So that happened in only Dhruvaloka only, this planet only. Okay, Mataji.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.
Amit too? Yeah.
Prabhuji, I'm just thinking,
Yeah.
why people would be envious to God? But there could be part of people who would not believe in God. Why someone typically envy is there when we equate ourselves with other people.
Correct.
So why someone would envy God?
Yeah. Just like we have so many demoniac personalities, no? Shishupal was there. Like he was told that he was envious of Krishna since his birth. He used to give bad words to Krishna, even though he had not started speaking properly also. Okay, so that's in the past, they have actually having envy for Krishna. And then now he is showing it in this life. Obviously, he is Jaya and Vijay only expansion, and that is different thing. But even other demons also like that. So they are actually having envy for the Lord since many, many lifetimes, since innumerable, as Prabhupada says it, time immemorial, like that. So different jivas have different inclinations. Okay, somebody is inclined to serve God, just like there is one category. Similarly, there is another category who are not inclined to serve God, they are envious of God. Okay, both the things are always existing. Okay, so demons and devotees both exist always, like that. So why it is like that, we cannot say. Just like why there are devotees like that. Why they are demons, we cannot say. Everybody has different nature like that. Is it okay?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Okay, so next section, this is Arjuna now saying what are his realizations or what he understood from Bhagavad Gita. In one verse only he will tell, and then he will tell what he wants to do in the same verse. Okay, so first he is saying here, this is 72. Kachid etat shrutam partha tvaya ekegreణ चेतसा कच्चिद अज्ञान सम्मोह pranashtaste dhananjaya. Somebody else can do this. Pratik, you want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. O son of Pritha, Partha, have you heard? Shrutam, this with an attentive mind, ekagrena chetasa, O winner of wealth, Dhananjaya, have has your illusion born of ignorance, ajnana sammohate, now been destroyed, prana, pranash,
Pranashta.
pranastha.
Yeah. So previously in the beginning of second chapter, when Arjuna told, I accept you as Guru. Then Krishna started speaking. He told that how come such impurities have come upon you, O Arjuna? Kutastva kashmalamidam. Hmm. So like this, Arjuna was criticized or he was chastised by Krishna, and now he is saying that that impurity which had come upon into you after hearing Bhagavad Gita, has it gone away or not? That is the question Krishna is asking. So has your illusion Okay, Ajnana Sammoha Pranashta Prakrishta Rupena Nashtaha. Has it been completely destroyed? Just like yesterday we saw Parityajah, completely given up. Similarly, Pranashtaha, completely destroyed. Yeah, please read.
Sorry, Guruji. The Lord was acting as the spiritual master of Arjun. Therefore, it was his duty to inquire from Arjuna whether he understood the whole Bhagavad Gita in its proper perspective. If not, the Lord was ready to re-explain any point or the whole Bhagavad Gita if so required. Actually, anyone who hears Bhagavad Gita from a bona fide spiritual master like Krishna or his representative will find that all his ignorance is dispelled. Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book written by a poet or fictional writer. It is spoken by Supreme Personality of Godhead. Any person fortunate enough to hear these teachings from Krishna or his bona fide spiritual representative is sure to become a liberated person and get out of the darkness of ignorance.
Yeah. So that's what Prabhupada is saying, that Lord was acting as a spiritual master as he asked for in the beginning, in the second chapter. Therefore, it was his duty to ask that whether he understood it properly, and otherwise he was ready to re-explain if fully or any point of it which he did not understand. And many times we see Arjuna actually ask, okay, earlier you said like this, but now you're telling to take sannyas. Earlier you told to do our duties. And then so many questions he asks actually. So actually anyone who hears Bhagavad Gita from bona fide spiritual master or Krishna, his representative, will find all his ignorance dispelled. So now next verse Arjuna will say, what is the check that somebody has heard Bhagavad Gita properly? Okay, so he will say Nashto Moho Smritir Labdva Tat Prasada Mayachutaha Gata Sandeha. So all these things should happen if one hears Bhagavad Gita from a bona fide spiritual master and also attentively with devotion, then this should happen. That is the science of Bhakti Yoga. That the proper method is followed, the results will come, surely come. Okay. If it is not coming, then there is some problem. Either the source is not right or the our hearing is not with proper devotion and attention. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita is not an ordinary book. First of all, it is spoken by Krishna only. And it's very, very rare that we get something directly which is words of Krishna. It's not written by some poet like Harry Potter, some fiction kind of thing, which so many people just read. Mm. Any person fortunate enough to hear these teachings from Krishna or is bona fide divinity is sure to become a liberated person. That's what Krishna told earlier, Falashruti, that one will surely attain back to home, back to Godhead like Dhruva Loka, Vaikuntha. Yeah, and come out of ignorance. Yeah, please read.
Thus, the scripture and glorification of speaking and hearing it have been spoken. The Lord now asks about the comprehension of the meaning of the scripture and the realization of the scripture. Kachid is an indeclination. What is this?
Yeah,
Indeclinable particle indicating a question. If you have not completely understood, then I will again teach it. That is the intention of the question.
yeah. So I can again teach if you have not understood properly or did not hear something attentively. So like that he is saying. Okay. So now Arjuna replies, Nashto moha smritir labdha tat prasadanmaya achyuta sito asmi gata sandeha karishye vachanam tava. Gayatri Mataji, you want to read?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna said, O infallible one, my illusion is now gone, and I have regained memory by your mercy. I am now firm and free from doubt, and I shall act according to your word.
Yeah. So Nashto moha. So first result of hearing Bhagavad Gita attentively with devotion from a bona fide source is that Nashto moho will happen. And second is Smriti Labdva. So let's see the English. Yeah. So my illusion is gone. That is first effect will happen. Second, is that I have regained the memory. Okay, one will regain his memory that he is servant of Krishna, which he has forgotten. Okay, by your mercy, and that will happen by the mercy of the spiritual master or Krishna, like that. And then third, I am now firm and free of doubt. Thitasmi gata sandeha. One will become free of all the doubt and will have the determination to follow the limbs of bhakti. And I shall act according to your word and follow the words of the spiritual master or the Shastra, Guru Sadhu Shastra, and obviously Krishna, like that. So these are the effects of hearing with devotion, attention, Bhagavad Gita from proper source. Like we are hearing from Baldev Vidyabhushan, Srila Prabhupada, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. So these are the proper sources, which when we understand, then these effects will come. Yeah, please read.
The constitutional position of a living entity represented by Arjuna is that he has to act according to the order of the Supreme Lord. He is meant for self-discipline. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that the actual position of the living entity is that of eternal servant of the Supreme Lord. Forgetting this principle, the living entity becomes conditioned by material nature. But in serving the Supreme Lord, he becomes the liberated servant of God. The living entity's constitutional position is to be a servitor. He has to serve either the illusory Maya or the Supreme Lord. If he serves the Supreme Lord, he is in his normal condition. But if he prefers to serve the illusory external energy, then certainly he will be in bondage.
Yeah, so Jivera Sarupa Krishnara Nitya Das. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has stated. And forgetting this principle, as the shloka says, so Sthitasmi, Sthita in what? Smriti Labdva, having gained the memory. What is the memory again? That I am servant of Krishna, like that. So living into this constitutional position. So what is mukti? Mukti hitva anyatha rupam swarupena vyavasthitihi. Mukti is very simply defined as giving up other denominations, but having the denomination that I am the servant of Krishna. That itself is mukti, like that. So that is what here is being said. That is our normal condition. Yeah, continue.
In illusion, the living entity is serving in this material world. He is bound by his lust and desires, yet he thinks of himself as the master of the world. This is called illusion. When a person is liberated, his illusion is over and he voluntarily surrenders unto the Supreme to act according to his desires. The last illusion, the last snare of Maya to trap the living entity, is the proposition that he is God. The living entity thinks that he is no longer a conditioned soul, but God.
Yeah. So this is a famous sentence Prabhupada has told. The last snare of Maya to trap the living entity is proposition that he is God. Correct. So that's why he becomes envious. Earlier it was told. Then this person cannot hear Bhagavad Gita because there is no service attitude. If he considers himself equal to God, then where is the service? One will serve only his master. When only one considers that Krishna is my master, he can serve. Okay, that is the last snare of Maya. And most common snare is this illusion, obviously, sense gratification, that most of the people are engaged or illusioned by sense gratification, like that, either money or some money, woman, wine. These are like most, like Krishna also told earlier, the highway to hell is greed and lust. Lust, anger, greed. Krishna told earlier in Bhagavad Gita, correct? Kam, Krodha, Lobha. These are the three highways. So these are most common snares of Maya. And the last, if one has overcome all these things, lust, anger, greed, then last one is Krishna, I'm God, like that. He is being told. These are all illusion. Yeah, continue.
He is so unintelligent that he does not think that if he were God, then how could he be in doubt? That he does not consider. So that is the last snare of illusion. Actually, to become free from the illusory energy is to understand Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and agree to act according to his order. The word moha is very important in this verse Moha refers to that which is opposed to knowledge. Actually, real knowledge is the understanding that every living being is eternally a servitor of the Lord. But instead of thinking oneself in that position, the living entity thinks that he is not a servant, that he is the master of this material world, for he wants to lord it over the material nature.
Yeah, so this is last snare where he thinks that I am God, and he does not think that how can I be in doubt if I am God. Uh, as the Mayavad philosophy, he thinks that Maya, because of Maya, I have come into this material world. Actually, I was God, but having overtaken by Maya, I have been considering that I am this body and this world is real. Actually, the real world is not real. Jagat Mithya, like that, he starts thinking. Brahma Satya and Jagat Mithya, he starts thinking. That is last layer of illusion, this Mayavad philosophy. Yeah. So, and then Moha, this word Prabhupada explains that how this illusion refers to which is opposed to knowledge, avidya and vidya. So this is a kind of this is avidya, and then opposite of that is vidya. So actually, real knowledge is understanding that everything, every living entity is eternally a servitor of Lord. Yeah, please read.
That is his illusion. This illusion can be overcome by the mercy of the Lord or by the mercy of a pure devotee. When that illusion is over, one agrees to act in Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is acting according to Krishna's order. A conditioned soul, illusioned by the external energy of matter, does not know that the Supreme Lord is the Master who is full of knowledge and who is the proprietor of everything. Whatever he desires, he can bestow upon his devotees. He is a friend of everyone, and he is especially inclined to his devotee. He is the controller of this material nature and of all living entities.
Hmm. So what will happen when that illusion, this moha is destroyed, nashto moha? Then what happens? One agrees to act in Krishna consciousness. Gata sandeha sthito asmi. So he will be removed of all doubts and he will be established in Krishna consciousness, smriti labdhva. According to Krishna's order, karishye vachanam tava. Like that he will start doing, or the order of spiritual master. Like that. Yeah, please read.
He is also the controller of inexhaustible time, and he is full of all opulences and all potencies. The Supreme Personality of Godhead can even give himself to the devotee. One who does not know him is under the spell of illusion. He does not become a devotee, but a servitor of Maya. Arjuna, however, after hearing Bhagavad Gita from the Supreme Personality of Godhead, became free from all illusion. He could understand that Krishna was not only his friend, but the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and he understood Krishna factually.
Yeah, so obviously Arjuna was not in the illusion, but he was put into Yogamaya by Krishna. So his illusion is different from ours. So he was put into Yogamaya and we are into Mahamaya. But both are obviously Arjuna was performing this pastime of hearing the Bhagavad Gita and coming out of illusion. And when we hear, our illusion will actually go away like that. Yeah. So he is saying one who does not know him, that means Krishna as Supreme Personality of Godhead, as God, he is under the spell of illusion. He is in Moha. Okay. And he does not become a devotee. He is envious. He cannot become a devotee. But he will remain a servitor of Maya. Hmm. Like that. Yeah. Continue.
So, to study Bhagavad Gita is to understand Krishna factually. When a person is in full knowledge, he naturally surrenders to Krishna. When Arjuna understood that it was Krishna's plan to reduce the unnecessary increase of population, he agreed to fight according to Krishna's desire. He again took up his weapons, his arrows, and bow to fight under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Yeah. So this is not written in the verse, but Karishya Vachanam Tava. Prabhupada is explaining from that. So he is saying, and obviously Baldev Vidyabhushan also said the same thing, that now Arjuna has risen up. Sorry, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur said, yeah, he has risen up and he has taken up his weapons. So these acharyas, they can see actually what is happening in the past time. Yeah, please read this Vishwanath Thakur's commentary.
What else can I ask? Having given up all duties, surrendering to you completely without worries, I now completely trust you. Thus he speaks this verse: I am ready to follow you who are worthy of surrender. That is the duty of me who have surrendered to you. I have no use for following my Varna and Ashram, nor Jnana Yoga or other processes. Starting today, I have given them all up. Oh, my dear friend Arjuna, I have some remaining work to do in relieving the burden of the earth. I want you to do that work. When the Lord said this, Arjuna with Gandiva, bow in hand, rose to fight.
Yeah, so practically Lord never told like this in Bhagavad Gita that, oh, I have some remaining burden. I killed all the other people. Jarasandha brought 17 times so many demoniac people. I killed them. And Jarasandha himself, I did not kill, but Bhima killed him. And now still there is some this remaining. So kindly you do that work. So this is the internal communication which acharyas can understand and see, and they can tell us. So then Arjuna said, yes, yes, I will surely do what you want me to do. I will surely fight. And then he took up his Gandiva bow in hand and rose to fight. And the point we were discussing yesterday, so Arjuna actually gave up. So he said, I have no use for following my Varna and Ashrama. But somebody may say, "Arey, he should have given up my Varna, means he should have not taken up to Kshatriya duty now, right? He should not have been started to fight. He should have told, yes, I'm giving up Varnashrama duties. Not in that sense, not externally. Externally, he is fighting. Why? Because Karishye Vachanam Tava, he told. Because I am fighting because you are telling. So internally, he is given up the Varnashrama, but externally, he seems to follow it because he is doing it on the order of Krishna. And to follow the order of Krishna, what is required? So here, Baldev Vidyabhushan, sorry, Vishwanath Thakur has told very important point. I completely trust you. So that faith should be there. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas ko hai sudrid nischay. Krishna Bhakti kahle sarva karma krit hai. So sudrid Vishwas I wanted to highlight there. Okay, sudrid Vishwas should be there. That yes, complete trust should be there in Krishna and the words of the spiritual master. Okay, yeah, yeah, continue. Baldev
Being
Vidyabhushan.
asked by Krishna, Arjuna answers that he has understood by reciting the results. Ignorance, moha, the opposite of knowledge, has disappeared by your mercy alone. I have understood correctly the nature of things. Smriti Labda, I have had all my doubts now cleared. I will follow your instructions. What he has said is this: all the living entities, such as devas and men, have the conception of being their bodies and being independent in their actions. Men worship the devas, and the devas bestow on men what they desire.
Yeah, so similar thing. He told, I will just act on your orders. Iti labdva, I have regained my memory. Or here he is saying, understood correctly the nature of things or the instructions you have given. Like that. Yeah, please read.
But who is the real Lord? I previously had the illusion, the opposite of knowledge, that Prakriti is the cause of the world. In contrast to that, I thought the Lord was without qualities and form, and was indifferent to men's affairs. That illusion has been destroyed by the teachings acquired from you. I have now true knowledge of that Lord who is the famous possessor of form and powers, a form of knowledge and bliss, who is an ocean of good qualities such as omniscience, omnipotence, and Satya Sankalp, who is a friend of his devotees. Though the Lord of all, who creates the variegated bodies in the universe according to the karmas of the jivas just by his will, through his energies of jiva, time, and Prakriti, who treasures the selfless devotee to whom he gives even himself.
Yeah. So what knowledge Arjuna is saying I have now is this knowledge he is saying. True knowledge of that Lord. Who is that Lord? So these are his attributes that Baldev Vidyabhushan has explained. He is the Bhagavan. He is the possessor of the six opulences. Uh, ऐश्वर्यस्य समग्रस्य वीर्यस्य यशस्य श्रियः ज्ञानवैराग्यश्चैव शून्यं भक्ति भग. These are the Bhaga. So Bhaga, these six Bhaga, he is the one possessor of this. So that's what he is saying. And also omniscience, omnipotence, and Satya Sankalpa Shakti means whatever he desires, that happens. Yeah. And all the other potencies like creating different bodies through Brahma or Mahavishnu, okay, and having the energies of Tatastha Sakti, the Jiva, Swarup Sakti, and the Bahiranga Shakti, that is the Prakriti, like that. With such Lord, I have gained the true knowledge of him, like that he is saying. So when we study Bhagavad Gita, so we are supposed to understand that he is the Lord who has these six opulences. He is omniscient, omnipotence. He is having Sakti Sankalpa Shakti. As he showed in the Vishwarup, that all these people, just by his desire, were killed. And they were being seen, being crushed into his mouth, like that. So a devotee who reads Bhagavad Gita should be able to understand these topics of Bhagavad Gita. Basically, Jiva, Prakriti, Kala, all these are the topics of Bhagavad Gita, Karma and Ishvara. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the 5 topics of Bhagavad Gita. Prabhupada writes in the preface. Okay, so these things a devotee should be able to understand when he reads Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, he has not read the Bhagavad Gita properly. Yeah, continue.
And I understand that the Lord is you, the son of Vasudev, situated as my friend. Therefore, I surrender to you. You will never abandon me. This doubt has been destroyed. If you have your goals to achieve of ridding the earth of its burden and you want me, you have surrendered to you to do it. Then I will obey your words. Thus Arjuna rose with bow in hand.
Yeah, we discussed this, Srila Vishwanath Thakur, and as well as Prabhupada told this point. So, Krishna wanted Arjuna as an instrument to destroy the burden of the earth in the demoniac kings, in the form of the demoniac kings like Duryodhana, Dushashan, like that. Okay, any questions before we discuss the last section? Okay, just 1 minute, I'll come back. Okay, so we'll continue this last part, 74 to 78. Now Sanjay will speak. Sanjay Uvacha iti aham vasudevasya parthasya cha mahatmanah samvadamimam ashrausham adbhutam roma harshanam. Yeah, somebody else can read. Ashwini Mata, you want to read?
Hare Krishna. I hope I am
Right.
audible clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sanjaya said, Sanjay Uwach, thus iti aham. I have heard, Shrotavan, this wonderful dialogue, Samvadam Adbhutam, between Vasudevasya, and the great soul Arjuna, Parthasya Mahatmanaha, which causes the hair to stand on end, Roma Harshanam.
Yeah. So now Sanjay is saying that what kind of dialogue this was? So this was between Vasudeva, the son of Vasudeva, and the great soul Arjun. And it was a Romanchaka, basically Romharshanam kind of, which was causing the hair to stand on the end like that. Yeah, please read.
In the beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra inquired from his secretary, Sanjaya, what happened on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The entire study was related to the heart of Sanjaya by the grace of his spiritual master Vyasa. He thus explained the theme of the battlefield. The conversation was wonderful because such an important conversation between two great souls had never taken place before and will not take place again.
Yeah, so in the beginning, in the very beginning of the Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra, know he is asked, Dharam Kshetre, Kurukshetre, Samveta, Yutsava, Mamakaha, Pandavaschaiva, Kim Akurvat, Sanjaya. What did they do? Kim Akurvat. He is saying about the past, basically. As we discussed in the beginning, the conversation of Bhagavad Gita, how it comes down in the sequence we discussed regarding Janmejaya Rishi, and then Sanjay speaking it. And then we also discussed how actually 10 days of the war battle had already happened. That's why he is using this past, Akurvat, which is past of before today. So now Sanjay related the first 10 days, and now 11th day onwards, he will speak live conversation by the mercy of Vyas, like that. Mm. He thus explained the theme of the battlefield. So it was wonderful. Roma Harshanam. Because such an important conversation between two great souls had never taken place before. So who are these two souls? Vasudeva and Arjuna, who would not take place again also. So whenever there is a conversation between two great souls like Parikshit Maharaj and Sukdev Goswami, so all the people come and hear like that. So that's why even their gurus and their Param Guru, like Vyasadev, of Guru of Shukdev Goswami, and then his Guru Narada Muni, they all came and sat in the uh, conversation between Parikshit Maharaj and Shukdev Goswami. Yeah, please read.
It was wonderful because the Supreme Personality of Godhead was speaking about himself and his energies to the living entity, Arjuna, a great devotee of the Lord. If we follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna, then our life will be happy and successful. Sanjaya realized this, and as he began to understand it, he related the conversation of Dhritarashtra. Now it is concluded that wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, there is victory.
So this will be told later in conclusion by Sanjaya. And very important point, Prabhupada says, if we follow the footsteps of Arjuna, of sincerely hearing Bhagavad Gita and trying to follow in our life to understand Krishna's instruction and understand Krishna himself, then our life will be happy and successful. Okay, that will be told in the end. So yatri yogeshwarah Krishna yat partho jan dhanurdara tatra Shri Vijaya Bhuti. Shri and Vijaya both will be there. Yeah. Yeah, please read.
Baladeva. The scriptures is concluded. Sanjaya speaks to Dhritarashtra to finish the story. This discourse is astonishing to the consciousness, Adbhutam, because it has never appeared before among men. It has caused my body hair to stand on end, Om Harshanam.
Yeah. Yeah, 75. Vyas prasadat shrutvan etad guhyam aham param yogam yogeshwarat krishnat sakshat kathayatah swayam. Yeah, Santosh, you want to read?
By the mercy, Praj- by the mercy prasadat of Vyasa, I have heard Shrutvan, this supreme and most confidential yoga, Etad Guhyam Param Yogam, directly, Sakshat, from Krishna, the master of all mysticism, Yogeshwarat, himself speaking, Swayam Kathayatah.
So, by the mercy of Vyas, as Prabhupada told in the previous purport, so by his mercy, I have heard this supreme, most confidential yoga, Param Yogam, Sakshat, means directly in front of my eyes, so Akshi, in front of my Akshi, in front of my eyes. So how he was not at the battlefield? Yeah, first 10 days he was there, but later he was not there, but he was given that vision of the battlefield later by Vyasa. And he heard it from Krishna directly like that. Yeah, continue.
Vyasa was the spiritual master of Sanjaya, and Sanjaya admits that it was by Vyasa's mercy that he could understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This means that one has to understand Krishna not directly, but through the medium of the spiritual master. The spiritual master is the transparent medium, although it is true that the experience is still direct. This is the mystery of the disciplic succession. When the spiritual master is bona fide, then one can hear Bhagavad Gita directly as Arjuna heard it. There are many mystics and yogis all over the world, but Krishna is the master of all yoga systems.
So, is there any difference from hearing directly from Krishna and hearing from a spiritual master? Yeah, so Prabhupada is saying that the Vyasa, he heard by the mercy of the Vyasa, Sanjay. So, the spiritual master, Prabhupada is saying, is the transparent medium of what? The mercy of Krishna or the instructions of Krishna. And it is true that the experience is still direct. Okay. It is still direct. And also it is said as it comes down in the disciplic succession, the fruit of Krishna consciousness becomes more and more sweeter. Just like Bhagavatam it is told. So, Nigam Kalpataroho Galitam Phalam Sukha Mukhad Amrit Drava Samyutam Pivat Bhagavatam Rasamalayam Muhuraho Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha. So, in that commentary, Vishwanath Thakur is telling that when it is tasted by the Sukha or the Sukadev Goswami, it becomes more tasty. So, when it comes down in the spiritual succession, it becomes more and more sweet. Why? Because the more and more realizations are added. Just like we have Srimad Bhagavatam, so many commentaries are added by different acharyas one after another. So it becomes more and more sweet when different realizations are added. So it still remains direct, but it becomes more and more sweet like that. Yeah, continue.
Krishna's instruction is explicitly stated in Bhagavad Gita: surrender unto Krishna. One who does so is the topmost yogi. This is confirmed in the last verse of the sixth chapter, Yoginam api sarvesam. Narada is the direct disciple of Krishna and the spiritual master of Vyasa. Therefore, Vyasa is as bona fide as Arjuna because he comes in the disciplic succession, and Sanjaya is the direct disciple of Vyasa. Therefore, by the grace of Vyasa, Sanjaya's senses were purified and he could see and hear Krishna directly.
So we also should have, to the degree we have purified senses basically, and free of illusion and free of doubt. To that degree, we will be also able to be a transparent via medium of the instructions of the spiritual master. To that degree, we will receive also, and to that degree only we will be able to give also. That's what. Yeah, continue.
One who directly hears Krishna can understand this confidential knowledge. If one does not come to the disciplic succession, he cannot hear Krishna. Therefore, his knowledge is always imperfect, at least as far as understanding Bhagavad Gita is concerned. In Bhagavad Gita, all the yoga systems, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga, are explained. Krishna is the master of all such mysticisms. It is to be understood, however, that as Arjuna was fortunate enough to understand Krishna directly, so by the grace of Vyasa, Sanjay was also able to hear Krishna directly.
Yeah, so Sakshat, what the meaning here is saying. So one who directly hears Krishna can understand this confidential knowledge. So as Prabhupada told earlier, directly hear from Krishna or their bona fide representative. Both are having the same effect, Sakshat. So if one does not come to disciplic succession and tries to understand himself just by imagine reading Bhagavad Gita, only the verses of Bhagavad Gita, that to imagine reading only the Sanskrit verses of Bhagavad Gita. So even though somebody may be a Sanskrit scholar, but one word of Bhagavad Gita can have so many different meanings. And one being a Sanskrit scholar, he can understand, oh, there are so many different meanings to one verse. Then the meaning what he may get of the Bhagavad Gita will be maybe different also than what Prabhupada has explained also, and what other acharyas have explained. So scholarship or skill, that is not the qualification to understand Bhagavad Gita, but disciplic succession, hearing it in disciplic succession is. Otherwise, there are so many people who are doing PhD on such sandarbhas, on Jiva Goswami sandarbhas. But Because they are not doing it in disciplic succession, they don't have faith in bhakti, they don't follow the limbs of bhakti. So then one will not be able to understand as it is. And then here Prabhupada is saying, in Bhagavad Gita, all the yoga systems like Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga are explained. Obviously, as we discussed, first 6 chapters are this. Jnana Yoga is 13 to 17. Bhakti Yoga is 7 to 12, like that. Obviously, Prabhupada has given purports for all the yoga as devotional service only. All the purports, as we saw in Jnana Yoga also, most of the things were Bhakti Yoga purports only. But yeah, as we studied other acharyas commentary, we can understand, yes, some are explaining Jnana Yoga, this section. This section was explaining Karma Yoga, like that. The Krishna is master of all such mysticism. Yogeshwaraha. So it is to be understood, however, that Arjuna was fortunate. Tvat prasadad maya achyuta. So he was fortunate to receive the mercy. Similarly, Vyasa gave his mercy to Sanjaya. So without the mercy of spiritual master, their representatives, we cannot understand the spiritual science. Yeah, please read.
Actually, there is no difference between hearing directly from Krishna and hearing directly from Krishna via his bona fide spiritual master like Vyasa. The spiritual master is the representative of Vyasadeva also. Therefore, according to the Vedic system, on the birthday of the spiritual master, the disciples conduct the ceremony called Vyas Puja.
Yeah. Yeah. Baldev Devotion's commentary. Yeah, please read.
In this verse, Sanjaya speaks of his own qualification for hearing the conversation that just took place. By the mercy of Vyasa, attaining a form with transcendental eyes and ears given by him, I have heard this secret. What is this secret? It is the yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga, which manifests the Supreme Entity, Param. I have heard it from the controller Ishvara of all beings who has a natural fellowship with all living entities such as Devas and man, Yoga. I have heard it from the original form, Swayam, Krishna. From his own mouth as he spoke it, Kathayatah, not from another person indirectly. Sanjay celebrates his own good fortune.
Yeah. So that's what here. So what is the secret? Rahasyam idam uttamam. So as it was told that among all the yoga systems, Bhakti Yoga is highest. And it reveals the Param Purusha, Bhagavan aspect. Jnana Yoga reveals the Brahman aspect. Ashtanga Yoga reveals the Paramatma aspect. And Karma Yoga prepares one for Jnana Yoga or Ashtanga Yoga. And Bhakti Yoga reveals the Bhagavan aspect, that is the most secret. And among in the Bhakti Yoga also, when there is revelation of the Param Purusha Bhagavan, that is Shyam Sundar Krishna, Brajendra Nandan Krishna. So that is most fortunate, like that. Yeah. And that can be done only in the disciplic succession. Yeah, and he heard from Swayam Bhagavan Krishna, not from the any expansion of Krishna. But it is only once in the day of Brahma that Krishna appears. And that Swayam Bhagavan Krishna only spoke that Bhagavad Gita. And he heard directly from that personality, not from any other person. So that is the fortune. Similarly, we should celebrate our fortune that we got to study the commentaries of Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada said that these purports are my own ecstasies. And sometimes we may complete the Bhakti Shastri course without reading the commentaries of Prabhupada. So, and it's not it's good to hear the commentaries of Prabhupada fully and read it fully. So it took some more time for our these 6 chapters, but we read it fully, the whole purpose purport and also other acharyas commentaries wherever needed. We understood how Prabhupada is actually explaining from them, and then where all things he has added his own ecstasies, he says his own realizations he has added. So it's good that we got the fortune to read all these things. Okay, 76. Rajan samshritya संवादम इमम अद्भुतम केशव अर्जुनयोः पुण्यम हृष्यामि च मुहुर्मुहुः. Dayami Devaki Mataji, you want to read?
Yes, Bruce. O King Rajan, as I repeatedly remember, Samshritya Samshritya, this wonderful and holy dialogue, Imam Adbhutam Punyam Samvadam, between Keshav and Arjuna, Keshav Arjunayoho, I rejoice, Vishyami, again and again, Muhu Muhu.
Yeah, so earlier he told this was very romanchak, harsham. It was very, very enlivening. And he is saying, now I repeatedly remember. So generally it is human tendency that we remember wherever we have very good experience. So we can reflect back in our life. Whenever in our life we had very good experience, we may remember. And whenever we had very, very bad experience, that also we will remember. Generally, which are not the extremes, we may not generally remember. So maybe you can take out some time and try to reflect in your life when maybe you had very good experience with devotees and we had very bad experience with devotees. So that we will remember. And even before becoming devotee, some very, very bad experiences, some exam we did not do well at all. Even though we knew the answers, we will remember. And some exams we did very well and we studied well and we did well and we got good rank. We will remember throughout life. Some achievements or something which is to the extreme, na? We will generally remember. So like that, here is a human nature actually. Or somebody has grief of his father or mother passing away. So what he was doing at that time, what was the thing, these all things people remember throughout their life. So some very, very, very heart-touching moments, either of grief or happiness, both we will remember. This is human nature. So here also Sanjay is reflecting upon and he is saying, I again and again remember because it was very, very wonderful. Rom Harshanam, he told. Na? So Samshritya, Samshritya, again and again, Muhu, Muhu, two times he told in the same verse. Basically, four words are same only. Samshritya, Samshritya, Muhu, Muhu. So he is remembering so many times like that because this is the holy dialogue between two great personalities like that. Yeah, yeah, please read.
The understanding of Bhagavad Gita is so transcendental that anyone who becomes conversant with the topics of Arjuna and Krishna becomes righteous and he cannot forget such talks. This is transcendental position of spiritual life. In other words, one who hears the Gita from the right source, directly from Krishna, attains full Krishna consciousness. The result of Krishna consciousness is that one becomes increasingly enlightened and he enjoys life with a thrill not only for some time but at every moment.
So some kind of thrill, whichever we had, one tries to live it again and again. Actually, by what we say, by remembering it again and again, or some past thing we remember again to relive it. Basically, reminiscence. Oh, there is some word I don't remember now, but yeah. So that's very important. Like the past memories which may be like thrilling or something which is very, very inspiring to us in bhakti, we should try to remember like any association with which we had with our spiritual master. Association in the sense that we had some physical association or we had the association of Vani hearing directly from him and we were inspired very much for some particular point which helped us in our life or some doubt was clarified by some devotee which was very much giving us choking our bhakti or we were not having that enthusiasm. So these all things which are positively inspiring us, we should try to remember again and again. Like that. So here Prabhupada is saying that the understanding of Bhagavad Gita is so transcendental. So this Roma Harshanam, this is not a material like people watching movies also have Roma Harshanam. Okay, so they also may be crying in the movie, or they may be having some tears in the eyes because of some very joyful moment. So that kind of enjoyment we are not talking, Prabhupada is saying. We are talking about the Divya Romaharshanam, Divya Romanchaka, Divya Romancha, basically, transcendental enjoyment. So that anyone who becomes conversant with the topics of Arjuna and Krishna becomes righteous and he cannot forget such talks. So yeah, so whatever we discussed, so let us all pray that whatever we discussed, we can remember in our life and try to follow it in our life. And we can be the recipient of the mercy, which actually here Sanjay is saying that I received mercy of my spiritual master. So we can also receive the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and other acharyas and Krishna and Arjuna, all these great devotees in our life. And we don't forget the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, and we keep in touch with the instructions of Bhagavad Gita in the spiritual life. And whenever we have any problems, we return back to the Bhagavad Gita and take instructions from our spiritual master, like that. So these are the things which we should do in our life. So in other words, one who hears the Gita from that right source, directly from Krishna, attains full Krishna consciousness. So hearing directly from these acharyas and Srila Prabhupada is directly from the mouths of Krishna. So they know what is in the heart of Krishna, what is in the mind of Krishna, what is in the mind and heart of Arjuna. And they have written the commentaries. And we should, with due respect, and worship them and read these commentaries like that. Okay. Yeah, please read.
O king, O Dhritarashtra, remembering this wondrous conversation, which destroys all faults of the hearer and destroys even avidya, the cause of our existence in this world, punya, at every moment, muhur muhur, my hairs are standing on it.
So again and again he's saying, my hairs at every moment, my hairs are standing on end. Hear such conversation. So to the degree one is advanced in devotional life, devotional in his Shraddha, in his Bhakti, to that degree he can hear the deeper meanings of Bhagavad Gita. So many times when we read Bhagavad Gita, we will see we are able to get deeper and deeper insights from the same book actually. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even though he may have given only 8 verses, the Sikshashtaka, but the same 8 verses carry so much deeper instructions, like that. When we advance in bhakti, to the degree we advance, to that degree we can access the hidden treasures. And that is true with all the books of acharyas and purports of Srila Prabhupada and the instruction of Krishna also. So Bhagavad Gita will remain the same. The shlokas will remain same 700. It's not that some new shloka will be revealed, but the deeper and deeper meanings will be revealed to the degree we are going to receive. We are ready for receiving that. That is a qualification to have this every moment here standing on end. Okay. 77. Tapcha samshritya रूपमति अद्भुतम हरे है विस्मयो में महान राजन दृश्यामि च पुनः पुनः. Who has not read? Maybe they can read. Nimai Rajendra Prabhu, you want to read?
And as I remember Samshritya again and again, Muhu Muhu, that most wonderful form of Lord Hari, Rupam Atya Adbhutam Hare, O King Rajan, I am struck with great wonder, Vismay me Mahan, and I rejoice again and again, Rishyami Punah Punah.
Yeah, so because of the mercy of Vyasadev, Sanjaya was able to sakshat with his own eyes, divya eyes basically. For seeing Krishna, we cannot see him through the material eyes. So that's why the mercy of a spiritual master is needed to see the transcendental form of Krishna. So that's why it says Diksha, that is the meaning. That Divyam Jnana Yato Dadyat Puryat Papasya Samshayam. So Divyam Jnana Yato Dadyat. First is the spiritual master gives the Divya Jnana, so that we can see through the Divya Chakshu. That is one of the meanings of Diksha. So as I remember again and again, the most wonderful form of Lord Hari, and as we will study in the next book, Bhakti Rasam Sindhu, the Lord is called Akhila Rasamrita Murtihi, who is the reservoir of all the rasas. So that form is our actually form which we hanker to worship and see. Okay, so not any other form. Akhila Rasamrita Murtihi. So, O King, I am very, very struck with wonder. I rejoice again and again. Yeah, please read.
It appears that Sanjay also, by the grace of Vyasa, could see the universal form Krishna exhibited to Arjuna. It is, of course, said that Lord Krishna had never exhibited such a form before. It was exhibited to Arjuna only. Yet some great devotees could also see the universal form of Krishna when it was shown to Arjuna, and Vyas was one of them. He is one of the great devotees of Lord, and he is considered to be a powerful incarnation of Krishna. Vyas disclosed this to his disciple Sanjay, who remembered that wonderful form of Krishna, exhibited to Arjun, and enjoyed it repeatedly.
So here Prabhupada is saying which form exactly. He is saying that I am very much thrilled to remember again and again. So this is the universal form, Vishwarupa Darshan, which Krishna spoke about in 11th chapter, which are exhibited to Arjuna and some other devotees like Sanjaya, Arjuna, and some great devotees are, and not revealed to others. Otherwise, they would have left the battlefield and ran away. That, oh, already we are seeing that our faces, our all the bones are being crushed by this Vishwarup. They would have ran away from there directly. So they did not see that because they were not qualified to see the roop of Krishna. But those who received mercy, like Sanjay and others, they could see. Okay. Yeah. That refers to the universal form that was shown. Yeah. Yatra Yogeshwarah Krishno, Yatra Partho Dhanurdharaha, Tatra Shri Vijayorabhuti, Dhruvani Tirmatir Mama. Yeah, continue, Prabhu.
Wherever there is Krishna, Krishna, the master of all mystics, Yoga Ishvaraha, and wherever there is Arjun, Partha, the supreme archer, Dhanurdharaha, there will certainly be opulence, victory, extraordinary power, and morality. Tatra Shri Vijaya Bhutir Dhruva Niti. That is my opinion, Matih Mama.
So wherever we have these two things, mercy of Krishna or Krishna himself or the spiritual master or their mercy, so there will be this Tatra Shri, basically opulence, Vijaya, victory, Dhruva Nitihi, extraordinary power and morality, Nitihi. So these four things, Krishna and the combination, either the spiritual master and the disciple or Krishna and Arjuna, that will bring out. So we should be very much rest assured that if we follow the process of bhakti, then we will gain these four things. Okay, there will be surely victory and we will go to the spiritual world, attain prema, if we follow properly the bona fide instructions, the bona fide spiritual master's instruction, and ourselves we do it with devotion, with attention. Kintu adarat anudinam khalushay vijishta, as Rupa Goswami describes, every day with attention and with respect. Then tadgat moolahantri, then all the anarthas from the heart will go away. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Continue.
The Bhagavad Gita began with an inquiry of Dhritarashtra's. He was hopeful of the victory of his sons, assisted by great warriors like Bhishma, Drona, and Karna. He was hopeful that the victory would be on his side. But after describing the scene on the battlefield, Sanjay told the king, "You are thinking of victory, but my opinion is that where Krishna and Arjuna are present, there will be all good fortune." He directly confirmed that Dhritarashtra could not accept victory from him for his side. Victory was certain for the side of Arjun because Krishna was there.
So answer to the first question is given in the last verse. Okay, so what happened on the battlefield? The answer is, for you there is nothing interesting. Okay, so wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, there will be victory. So surely the loss is going to be there on your side, like that is indicated by Sanjaya. He did not say it directly that you will be loser, but he said that there will be victory on other side. So always like positive, he is saying the positive part of it. Okay. Yeah, continue.
Krishna's acceptance of the post of charioteer of Arjun was an exhibition of another opulence. Krishna is full of all opulences, and renunciation is one of them. There are many instances of such renunciation, for Krishna is also the master of renunciation. The fight was actually between Duryodhana and Yudhishthir. Arjun was fighting on behalf of his elder brother Yudhishthir. Because Krishna and Arjun were on the side of Yudhishthir, Yudhishthir's victory was certain. The battle was to decide who would rule the world, and Sanjay predicted that the power would be transferred to Yudhishthir.
Yeah. Yeah, continue.
It is also predicted here that Yudhishthir, after gaining victory in this battle, would flourish more and more because not only was he righteous and pious, but he was also a strict moralist. He never spoke a lie during his life. There, there are many less intelligent persons who take Bhagavad Gita to be a discussion of topics between two friends on a battlefield, but such a book cannot be scripture. Some may protest that Krishna incited Arjun to fight, which is immoral, but the reality of the situation is clearly stated. Bhagavad Gita is the supreme instruction in morality.
Dhruva Nitihi. So this is a instruction of supreme morality, transcendental morality, like that. So yeah, Arjuna is on the side of Yudhishthir. Yudhishthir is surely going to be victorious, who was a strict moralist, like that. He never spoke a lie during his life, like that. and he wanted to always serve Krishna, and his opulence was going to increase more and more. By as we read in Bhagavatam, that it is Ashwamedh Yajna, Rajasuya Yajna, so many things he did, and he gained and it is said in Bhagavatam that his uh, proclamation of his good fortune reached up to the up to the heavens, like that. So much was his opulence. Yeah, continue.
The supreme instruction of morality is stated in the 9th chapter, in 34th verse, Man mana bhava mad bhakta. One must become a devotee of Krishna, and the essence of all religion is to surrender unto Krishna. Sarva dharman parityajya mamekam sharanam raja. The instructions of Bhagavad Gita constitute the supreme process of religion and of morality. All other processes may be purifying and may lead to this process, but the last instruction of Gita is the last word in all morality and religion. Surrender unto Krishna. This is the verdict of the 18th chapter. From Bhagavad Gita, we can understand that to realize oneself by philosophical speculation and by meditation is one process, but to fully surrender unto Krishna is the highest perfection.
Yeah, so the Bhagavan form or the Bhakti Yoga is the highest perfection. Yoginam api sarvesham madhyatena antaratmanaha. Yeah, so that is the highest process. Yeah, continue.
This is the essence of teachings of Bhagavad Gita, the path of regulative principles according to the orders of social life and according to the different courses of religion may be a confidential path of knowledge. But although the rituals of religion are confidential, meditation and cultivation of knowledge are still more confidential. And surrender unto Krishna is the devotional service in full Krishna consciousness is the most confidential instruction. This is the essence of 18th chapter. Another feature of Bhagavad Gita is that the actual truth is the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. The absolute truth is realized in three features: impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and ultimately the supreme personality of Godhead, Krishna. Perfect knowledge of the absolute truth means perfect knowledge of Krishna.
Yeah. So basically, Prabhupada is saying in these words, but here, like religion are confidential. What he is saying, rituals of the religion, that is Karma Yoga, may be considered confidential. Meditation means Ashtanga Yoga, and Jnana Yoga, cultivation of knowledge. That's what Prabhupada is saying, Jnana Yoga. This is Jnana Yoga, this is Ashtanga Yoga, this is Karma Yoga. Okay, so they are progressively more confidential, but Bhakti Yoga is the most confidential. That's what Yogi Namapi Sarvesham Madhyatena Antaratmanaha. So Bhakti Yoga is most confidential. That is the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita. That is essence of the 18th chapter. Manamana Bhava Mad Bhakto. Like that. Yeah, please read.
If one understands Krishna, then all the departments of knowledge are part and parcel of that understanding. Krishna is transcendental, for he is always situated in his eternal internal potency. The living entities are manifested of his energy and are divided into two classes, eternally conditioned and eternally liberated. Such living entities are innumerable and they are considered fundamental parts of Krishna. Material energy is manifested in 24 divisions. The creation is affected by eternal time, and it is created and dissolved by external energy. This manifestation of the cosmic world repeatedly becomes visible and invisible. In Bhagavad Gita, 5 principal subject matters have been discussed: the Supreme Personality of Godhead, material nature, the living entities, eternal time, and all kinds of activities.
Yeah, so Prabhupada is summarizing the whole Bhagavad Gita basically in his purport. And he told these 5 topics, as we discussed earlier, these 5 topics are the principal subject matters of this book. Yeah, read.
All is dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. All conceptions of the absolute truth, impersonal Brahman, localized Paramatma, and any other intranscendental conception exist within the category of understanding the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Although superficially, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the living entity, material nature, and time appear to be different, nothing is different from the Supreme. But the Supreme is always different from everything. Lord Chaitanya's philosophy is that of inconceivable oneness and difference. The system of philosophy continues perfect knowledge of the absolute truth, constitutes perfect knowledge of the absolute truth.
Yeah, so Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva is what is the conclusion of all the philosophy, like that. So many different philosophies were proposed, like Mayavad, it's a proposition. Then there is Advaitavad, there is Dvaitavad, but the Tattva or the final conclusive truth is given by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why it's called Achintya Bheda Abheda Tattva. It's not a Vada, which is a proposition, like that. Yeah, continue.
The living entity in his original position is pure spirit. He is just like an atomic particle of the Supreme Spirit. Thus, Lord Krishna may be compared to the sun and the living entities to sunshine. Because the living entities are the marginal energy of Krishna, they have a tendency to be in contact either with the material energy or with the spiritual energy. In other words, the living entity is situated between the two energies of the Lord, and because he belongs to the superior energy of the Lord, he has a particle of independence. By proper use of that independence, he comes under the direct order of Krishna. Thus, he attains his normal condition in the pleasure giving potency.
Yeah, so he is a Tatastha Sakti. He is situated on the Tata, the bank of the ocean. Either he can choose to be in the ocean or in the land. So like that, if he chooses to be in the influence of the superior energy, he reach to the spiritual world. Okay, so this is the last purport. Yeah, please read this.
As for the commentary on As for the commentary on the last 5 verses, which brings out the purport of the whole Gita, they were written on 2 pages, which have been taken away by the carrier of Ganesha, rat. I have not bothered to write them again. They were a trifling matter. Let that be. Thus, the commentaries on the Bhagavad Gita called Sararth Darshini have been completed. May this shower of meanings of the essence of scripture, which give benefit to the whole world, delight the devotee, Chataka birds, with its sweetness, and may the pleasure they derive from it light up my heart. Thus end the commentaries on the 18th chapter of the Gita for the pleasure of devotees' hearts by the mercy of the Acharyas.
Yeah, so Vishwanath Tagore is saying an interesting instance which happened that he had written the commentaries. Actually, he told already that the Bhagavad Gita is concluded in the Sarvadharma Parityaja verse itself. There is no need for the further commentary. And he is saying that actually the further commentaries were written, but it was taken away by the carrier of Ganesha, the rat, like that. So I have not bothered to write them again. And then he is praying for the mercy for the Acharyas, previous Acharyas and Krishna. And he's saying the very important thing, may this commentary showing the meanings of the essence of the scripture, Bhakti Yoga, which give benefit to the whole world, delight the devotee who are like Chataka birds. Like the attention of the Chataka bird is only on the rain cloud, the water, with its sweetness, and may the pleasure they derive from it light up my heart. So that is the purpose that different acharyas are writing the commentary and speaking it. Just 1 minute. Hare Krishna. Okay, yeah. So please read this last part. 3 slides. Yeah.
This being so, give up the desire for the victory of your sons. Where there is the master who is related to all
Yeah.
Where there is the master who is related to all beings, Yogeshwara explained above, who brings into motion and maintains the forms of all other living entities just by his will, where there is Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, who takes the role of a helper, even as the charioteer of Arjun, and where there is Arjun, the son of Pritha, your father's sister, who is the avatar of Nara, the pure devotee of Krishna, the holder of the bow, Gandiva, which cannot be cut Dhanurdhara, at that place alone, where Krishna and Arjun are situated, siding with Yudhishthira, there will also be secured the wealth of kings, Shri, victory, Vijay, great superiority causing the defeat of the enemy, the constant increase of that royal wealth, Bhuti, and the permanent Dhruva, sense of justice, Niti. Note Krishna's father, Vasudeva, was the sister of Pritha. Both were children of King Surasen. Pritha was adopted by King Kunti Bhoj and called Kunti. She married Pandu and gave birth to Arjun.
Yeah. So some genealogy is explained here. Yeah. Continue.
One should not worry that this scripture is favoring war. It is not so. The instructions are man mana bhava mad bhaktah and sarva dharman parityajya. It is clear that, that the prescribed actions according to the four varnas and ashramas, including fighting, have been delineated for purification of the heart and for teaching the populace. Note, these instructions are for the sanishtha and parinishthita devotee. There are many methods, but among them surrender, prapati, along with the attitude of being a servant, quickly please Vishnu. This is the conclusion of the 18th chapter.
Yeah, so some people, as Prabhupada told, may think that, oh, Krishna is telling to fight. This is telling about violence. Ahimsa paramo dharma. It is highest dharma to have ahimsa. Prabhupada explained that earlier also, that highest ahimsa is to follow the instructions of Krishna, like that. So he is not favoring war. His instructions were man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru, to perform bhakti. And for the other people, those who are not pure devotees, for them, teach by example, by fighting, by externally following your varna and ashrama dharma. Okay, do your duty externally, but internally, man mana bhavamad bhakto, meditate upon me. That is the instruction. Yeah, continue.
In the Gita, the supreme truth Krishna, filled with all spiritual qualities, who drank the breast milk of Yashoda, who became the charioteer of Arjun, is glorified. Attaining the fulfillment of my desires, I immersed myself in the milk ocean of the Gita, but I have not been able to lift the jewel of very wonderful meanings of out of the ocean, though I have understood to some degree. In this way, my master, the joyful son of Nanda, with great delight shows his affection for me. With care, Vidya Bhushana has attended upon this commentary called Srimad Gita Bhushana. O devotees who are greedy for the sweetness of prema of Sri Govind, filled with mercy, please purify this work.
So this is the attitude of the acharyas in which they write the commentary actually. Not that I have understood everything. So none of the devotees who are actually a devotee will ever say that, yes, I have understood everything, I have realized Krishna fully. Nobody will say like that. So that's why here he is saying that to some degree I have understood the meaning of Bhagavad Gita to the degree it was revealed to me, like that they will say. Although they will have understood the Bhagavad Gita fully, but out of humility they say like this, like that. And who is that Krishna who is speaking this? So he is saying that the supreme truth Krishna, filled with all spiritual quality, basically Yashoda Nandan, Nandanandan, Rajendra Nandan. That Krishna is being glorified here in the Bhagavad Gita. That is being meditated upon. He is saying, okay. So, yeah, so he is telling this commentary is called Gita Bhushan. Okay, because it was in response to the claims of Ramanandis. Okay, so he had written this. So may the great devotees or devotees who are greedy for the prema of Sri Govinda. Who is this Sri Govinda? The son of Mother Yashoda. That Govinda, prema, he that hankering, they may purify this work. How will they purify this work? Just by studying, actually devotees will get purified by studying this, but in humility he is saying the opposite, that they will purify this work. So it's not like that. So by studying, we get their mercy and we get the right understanding of Bhagavad Gita, and that right understanding is the actual purification. So that's what Diksha is Divyam Jnana Yato Dadyat. So we are understanding this from these great acharyas. Okay. So this ends this last 6 chapters of the Bhagavad Gita. So it went above time because we had to complete this and discuss also. So thank you for hearing so attentively, even though it went more beyond, I think more than expected. 40 hours were expected for this, but I thought we should read the Prabhupada purpose fully so that we can understand what actually Prabhupada is trying to say. And sometimes, yeah, we skip some part. I did earlier also, but this time I tried to do fully. So thank you for patiently hearing and crossing through all the hurdles of attendance policies and and exams and OBAs and such plain presentation. So thank you for being there. Very, very grateful to all of you. Hare Krishna. Are there any questions on what we discussed or any comments? And please don't drop. There is one thing I want to ask before we start this Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, or maybe we can take a poll in the group also. But Yeah. So if there are any questions or comments, first we can take that.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. It was very much beneficial. It was not a plain presentation. It was like we were able to, understand much more.
Mhm. Yeah. Actually, yeah, just plain in the sense that, yeah, we are just reading the commentaries and trying to understand. Yeah, the slides were not very decorative and filled with some stories. Presentation was not so many stories and so much humor and jokes like that. So it was very plain in that way. Yeah. So Acharya commentaries are surely enlivening, but requires some patience. So like that. Yeah, thank you. Any other devotees have any question?
No question again, just adding on to what Mataji said. Thank you so much. You took efforts, you're explaining, writing many times, you created charts. At least, I could not attend all the sessions due to various different reasons, but I'm sure that I'll watch the recording. Thank you so much for guiding
Yeah,
us.
I did all that for myself actually to
Very
understand
well.
the things better. Sometimes when we present, so now actually while teaching, I understood Bhagavad Gita even better. While studying ourselves, we don't put so much of our attention and effort in understanding. And sometimes when all of you ask questions, so then I get to think that, oh, why this thing is there. So I also get to learn. So I did all these things for myself actually in that way.
Very well.
Yeah,
When
thank you.
non-devotees ask me what ISKCON teaches you, ISKCON definitely teaches one of these skills, humbleness. You're demonstrating that. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you for your words. Thank you. So one thing I just wanted to check is that now next as okay, let me just stop the recording. Not